Could you just bring me a...
She had her mic on.
See where I'm at.
Let me show you.
All right, everyone. From my clock, it says it's 9 o'clock. And one of the things that we like to do around here is make sure that we're on schedule and we're not wasting anybody's precious Saturday morning. So we want to get moving on this. I just want to start out again by thanking each and every one of you who has spent your morning with, or will be spending your morning with us. Hopefully you will find it valuable and worth your time and effort. I do want to start out with our sponsors, and the reason our sponsors are so important is that thanks to our sponsors, every dollar that you guys give this morning will go directly to the ministry. All the food, all the decor, everything you see has been covered by our sponsors. So I want to, yes, indeed. I want to call out our sponsors now, and they'll be going by kind of colors, so if you could hold until I'm done with a particular color, and then we'll give them a thank you, and we want to do that. So please, as these names come up, remember them, thank them if you go to their store or their business, and purchase things from them. That would be fantastic. So our platinum sponsors, these are our big boys. First one is Capitula Homes. So we thank them very much for what they're doing. Our second platinum sponsor is Red Apple Market from Kennewick. We actually have a third platinum that we don't have a slide for. They made the donation, but they wanted to remain anonymous. So round of applause for Capitula Homes and Red Apple Market. Thank you very much.
Awesome.
Our next level was our gold sponsors. We have one gold sponsor this morning, Community First Bank. So thank you, Community First Bank. They are awesome. Our silver sponsors this morning, we have several of those. We've got Chiropractic Care of the Tri-Cities, Excelsior Design Incorporated, Phase 2 Electric, SMK Tri-Cities, and Family First Dental. So thank you very much to our silver sponsors. To our bronze sponsors, we have Crossview Community Church, Central Church, which is where you're sitting right now, so we'll thank them a lot more here in a little bit. Kennewick Nazarene Church, Stellar U Wellness Center, and Desert Springs Covenant Church. So thank you to all of those individuals who are our bronze sponsors. Our honorary sponsors, and I hope I get this right, Mark, because you told me it didn't matter. It's either Llama Glama or Lama Glama. Mark told me he doesn't know which one it is. So they are out, been taking the photos for us this morning, and so thank you to them. Thank you to Grocery Outlet on Road 68 in Pasco and Abadan as well. They supplied all the printing stuff that you see for us, so there was no cost for that. So thank you to those sponsors. We also have our honorary sponsors, and again, Lama Glama is in there. Thank you. OG Designs. They supplied all the chair covers that you're sitting down on, and I would suggest that if you spilt coffee on them this morning, just kind of move over to another chair. Grocery Outlet on Road 68 as well. And the Capitula Sisters and their family. They actually supplied all the decor you see, the flowers, everything. They were great, just a blessing to us. So thank you very much for that.
So Gary, actually, those flowers are one of the sisters, but it's Luxury Blooms Floral Design, and she does amazing work.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'd also like to thank...
Did you get Abadan?
I did get Abadan. Okay. Of course, our host. So Central Church, thank you very much. The people in the tech booth, all the people that helped set up the tables and chairs. So if we can give a hand to Central Church, that would be awesome. Thank you very much. Our piano player, Carly Allen, who has been tickling the ivories all morning. Thank you very much, Carly, for doing that.
Carly!
I would like to go ahead and call up our board and staff at this time so that you can see them, know who they are, and if you guys would come up and stand in front of the stage. While they're coming up, I do want to thank our volunteers. We have literally hundreds of volunteers that help us out on a daily basis, not to mention how many supported this breakfast. So thank you so much. What's that? Oh, I thought you were talking to me, Mike. Thank you so much to every volunteer, no matter what you did for us. So thank you.
If you are a volunteer who helped with this breakfast in any way, prepping or this morning, whatever, or afterwards, can you please stand up real quick so we can give you some applause?
Stand up,
Thank
volunteers.
you, thank you,
All
thank you.
right.
There's
Thank
a lot
you.
more of them that aren't standing up. And if you're a volunteer with Mirror Ministries, if you are a volunteer with Mirror Ministries in any way, can you just give a big wave? Praise Jesus.
Yes,
Yeah.
I love it.
Thank you.
So this half of the stage is our board of directors. I do want to point out one particular one. Amber Bruce here is one of our co-founders. So she is one of our 3 co-founders. So thank you, Amber, for founding us, I guess. I'm not sure that's the right term, for founding us, helping us to be founded.
We might also, I'm sorry,
Okay.
a couple more point outs, just because Liz stepped up as our 2 newest board members actually are key elements for your morning this morning. So Liz helped orchestrate all of this. Yay, Liz. And then Mike had the gall to say, I've participated in silent auctions before, so he became the silent auction guy. So make sure he's a success this morning.
Our staff over here to my right, if you happened to be at this breakfast last year, you probably noticed our staff has doubled in size. And I'm here to tell you, within the next 12 months, it's going to double again. We've got some great things coming up. So thank you very much to our staff. You're wonderful. You are what makes this ministry run. So thank you very much.
They're
guys.
amazing. Give them another round of applause.
Thank you very much.
We do have a few people missing today. They have really good valid excuses, conferences in DC,
Yeah, that's
funerals
true.
and things like
Yeah,
that.
so I just also want to thank each and every one of you. Believe it or not, we sold out. So we sold out for our breakfast first time 2 weeks early. So thank you so much for coming and doing that. I think maybe it's time for a commercial break.
A commercial
A
break?
commercial break. The theme today, and you're going to hear this all day, all morning, is priceless. And I have this memory. Do you remember these videos about Priceless?
Oh,
The
MasterCard commercials, like the
MasterCard
baseball theme,
Yeah,
buy a baseball card.
I
and
have this
everything
one that
else.
I really remember. It's like one of my favorites. And before we start this, I want you to know we're going to be lowering the lights a little bit here, so don't be offended. This is so you can see things. I have this big memory of one with an elephant.
Oh, the elephant
I
commercial.
think I remember an elephant commercial.
Let's see that.
Hot soup, $4. Cold medicine, $11. Blanket, $24. Making it all better. Priceless. With PayPass on your MasterCard, just tap and go.
Like our butterfly too. I have to interrupt for another commercial break and interruption. Some cell phone coverage is kind of messing with the system. So if you guys can just give us actually we don't want you to turn off your phones because we want you to use them. But if you can, everybody make sure they're silenced at least. Thank you.
So, quick question for you. How many in the room, this is your first ever breakfast with us? Oh,
Wow.
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 That is incredible. That is absolutely incredible. Thank you, everyone who's brand new to us, and hopefully you'll hear our vision and where we believe the Lord is taking us. Because there's so many new people, I wanted to spend a couple minutes just talking about a little bit of our history. Where did we come from? So, in 2013, we had a little exhibit out there that was called Sold the Human Trafficking Experience. Did anybody in this room did anybody go through this by any chance? Oh, fantastic. This is where we started. And when we built this back in 2013, and Amber Bruce was one of the primary designers on this, one of our founders, We built it, and we had one showing at Bethel Church, actually, in Richland, and we had no idea what we were going to do with it next. We ended up spending the next 5 or 6 years traveling all over the western United States. We went all the way down Texas, all the way up the West Coast with this experience, and moved forward with that. About 2 or 3 years ago, we actually retired it because, believe it or not, we got too busy to travel all over the United States to go do this anymore. But I want you to know something. If you went through this experience, it was made out of wood, a lot of 2x4s and paneling. We have since taken those panels and those 2x4s, and they have been used in our restoration home during the remodeling process. So it's really cool. If you walk around and look at the right places, you're going to see parts of these panels throughout the restoration home. It's taking our educational goal and moving it into restoration. It's just really cool. I think it's cool because I kind of know where they're hidden, so I can find them. The next thing I want to talk about is this piece of paper right here. And I don't know how well you're going to be able to see it, but this is where we started as Mirror Ministries. We started Soul before we became Mirror Ministries. This is a little piece of paper that myself, my lovely bride, Tricia, we didn't introduce ourselves. Oh my goodness.
We just thought y'all knew us.
So anyway, my name is Gary McFarland. I am one of the co-founders of Mirror Ministries, and I sit on the board of directors, and this lovely lady here of 37 years of marriage is?
I'm Tricia McFarland. He doesn't use my name very often, so he's working really hard this morning to call me Trish or Tricia. Usually it's...
Oh, it'll be Babe or Gorgeous, just so you're aware of that, people. Okay, so if I call her Babe or Gorgeous, give me grace, because that's what I've called her for. We've known each other well over 40 years.
Almost 50.
Yeah, no, wow. Okay, anyway. Okay, back to younger history.
I'm the executive director, by the way, and also a co-founder.
Yes.
So, take it away.
Thank you. All right, I'm sorry. Back to the, I should realize, yeah. What I love about this, and I don't know if you can tell real well, but some of the writing is upside down. Some of it's off to the side. Some of it's just weird writing. And that's because at the center of our kitchen table at our home, this piece of paper sat. And the four of us, me, Trish, Amber, and actually my eldest daughter, sat around, and this is how Mirror Ministry started. Not glorious, not fancy. We're trying to figure out what to name it. Now, Amber studies Hebrew in college, so she throws out these Hebrew names, and that's why, if you can tell, there's like English next to them. But this is our vision, our mission. We couldn't figure out, are we Isaiah 58? Are we Freedom Ministries? What are we? This is where we started. Nothing fancy. It was a vision that was given to us, we believe, by the Lord, and this is how it all started, with this little piece of paper. As the treasurer over those years, I don't know if you can see the scroll in the upper left corner. There's like $175 and $158. That was probably our annual budget, I'm guessing. That doesn't make it anymore, just in case you're wondering. But that was me trying to figure out how we're going to pay for this and make it happen. The next thing I want to talk about is our early years, our design, the real vision. The Lord gave the vision for Mirror Ministries of this restoration home, and we're going to be talking about that. This is it, okay? It is now a reality. We bought land last year in August of 22, 20 and a half acres out in Franklin County. Beautiful land, beautiful farmland. In June of 23, so just a couple of months ago, we finished all of the remodeling of the facility and we received occupancy. We are excited.
We can clap for that.
I want to clap for that. You're going to hear a lot more about the restoration home as we move along. So why Mirror Ministries? Why did we call ourselves Mirror Ministries? And this is just a fantastic slide that explains this. When we started this, our vision was that when we have a client come in our doors, they have historically looked in a mirror. When they go to look and see themselves in a mirror, they see, honestly, no value. They see what they've been through. They see what they've been called. They see they're just a product, okay? We want, and our goal, and you're going to hear this all day long, all morning long, our goal is we want them to understand who they really are. And if you look at this, they don't get, that young girl doesn't understand yet who she is, what her value is. She doesn't get her value, and our clients don't get their value from what I say they are, or who they are. They don't get it from what you guys say they are. Nothing of that nature. They get their value because ultimately they are the daughter of the king. okay? The Creator. They get their value from Him, from the Creator of the universe. No one can take that away. So I just want to let you know that's where that is. That's why we came up with the name Mirror Ministries. The last thing I want to cover before I turn this over to Trish is our mission statement. Mirror Ministries' mission is to respond to domestic minor sex trafficking with the love of Christ through local education, intervention, restoration, and aftercare. Trish is going to talk a lot more about these things as we move along, and she'll cover how we're doing those in some of the programs, so you guys will get more educated on what we're doing. Has anyone seen Sound of Freedom, the new movie? Wow, that's incredible. Sound of Freedom covers one aspect of trafficking, the kidnapping and things of that nature. But what I want now is I want Trish to talk to us about what we're seeing here locally. Is kidnapping what we're really seeing here locally? I'm going to say it, babe. It had to come out. Sorry, guys. Is kidnapping what we're seeing locally, or are there other things that we're seeing more predominant here in the Tri-Cities?
Thanks for asking that. Sound of Freedom was done really well, very dramatic, made a big impression. How many of you are here this morning because of seeing The Sound of Freedom? Maybe? Oh, okay.
A few.
A couple.
There's a few.
Okay. We did see a lot more interest tick up and stuff. It brought a lot of awareness. I didn't actually go see the movie because we live this harsh reality every day. We hear from precious, priceless souls here in our own community about the abuse and the exploitation they're dealing with on a regular basis. I didn't need to see a dramatization of that in addition to it, but I do hear that it was done very well and very impactful. Yes, we do see some kidnappings. Yes, we do see some children that are brought from other countries or adults. But most of what we see, not only here in the Tri-Cities, but really nationwide, are kids, men and women that were born and raised, bought and sold right here in our own community. Our own children are the ones who are being trafficked. We live in a really good community, but anywhere that there are people, there's going to be vulnerabilities. Anywhere there's people with vulnerabilities, there's going to be people with power to exploit them and taking advantage of that. And let's be real, all of us have some sort of vulnerabilities, right? This was where I was going to insert an accidental picture of our grandchildren, but we didn't. So that would be our vulnerability.
Yes,
don't you think?
indeed.
Yeah. The majority of the survivors we serve were first actually exploited by a family member. Any guesses on which family member was the first sex trafficker of most of our clients? Yeah, some of you know this. Mommy. For almost 90% of the clients we work with, Mommy was her first exploiter, the first person to sell her to a man, the first person to send someone down to her bedroom, that place of sanctuary and safety, that person who's supposed to be the one who loves and protects them. And if you can imagine that trauma and that pain that happens in that kind of betrayal. The thing we also see here, we see a lot of gang trafficking as well. Gangs have found that it's a profitable business to sell people. People are a renewable commodity. They can be sold again and again and again and again, sometimes 10 times in a night, over and over and over again. And when they're used up, or they escape, or they get freedom, they can find another human to sell again and again and again. The most vulnerable of these children that we're talking about, though, really comes down to the ones that are foster involved. It's hard to get good statistics in the world of trafficking, but one of the things we see again and again is that children who've been rescued from sex trafficking, typically the stings that the FBI is doing, etc., nearly 80% of those kids that have been rescued from sex trafficking have been foster-involved youth. Nearly 80% of them. That's a huge percentage, and honestly, that's inexcusable for us as a nation to let this happen to our children. I might cry some this morning, I'm sorry. We also see peer-to-peer trafficking, and that's youth exploiting other youth. Very often those that are doing the exploiting have been abused themselves, and then they see the ability to exploit others, or adults are encouraging them to do that as well. But the biggest growth that we've seen locally and nationwide has been online exploitation, online grooming of our children. And that, we're talking about your children, kids from good, healthy homes. I'm making an assumption. You guys are all good, healthy homes. We used to worry about that man in the white van, but what we're doing is we have internet-enabled devices all over our homes, all over our bodies, and we are inviting that stranger into our homes and into our lives on a continual basis. And our kiddos are right there with those strangers in your home. And we've seen nearly 100% increase since COVID on the exploitation of kids and adults online. One of the big ones, newer movement that's been happening, is the exploitation of young boys. And they're being groomed and lured online. He could tell you that he's a 13-year-old girl online, right? And you don't know any different. He could show you pictures, etc. He's not an exploiter. So
Thank you. Thanks for clarifying that.
They build a relationship with this young man, young boy, and then they start saying, hey, let's share some pictures. And as soon as they get that first picture from that young boy, now everything flips. You need to pay us $5,000 or else we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do this. And those threats and exploitation just keep going. What does a 12-year-old boy do when he's asked for $5,000 or else? Well, unfortunately, we've seen nationwide, many of them commit suicide because they feel desperate and they don't know what to do. We gotta start putting some boundaries and safeguards in there for our kids. So the movie, The Sound of Freedom, did a great job of raising awareness. Obviously, you guys went, you saw it. It built some awareness, it built some passion for the movement, but it's the least common form of trafficking that we see. The risk from movies like that is devaluing the victims that are victimized in different ways, because our clients will come, we come to them, and they will say, well, I'm not a victim of trafficking. That's not what happened to me. I wasn't kidnapped from Honduras. I wasn't transported over borders. I'm still living at home, but I chose to be with this guy who I thought was my boyfriend, and then these things happened. Or I'm living at home and it's my family members, and this is just what happens. We want to make sure that they don't just see the Hollywood version, but that they understand that we want to honor all of their stories as much as possible. And that's where education can really help with that. But today I want to thank you, our Priceless supporters. You're ones that you share your time, your treasure, and your talent to help local victims. Local victims that you will never see their face, you will likely never know their name, and you will likely never hear their full story. Because we want to be sure not to re-exploit these gals or boys, even in the name of their restoration. So yeah, we'd probably raise a lot more money if we could parade them up here and have them tell their stories, but we would be re-exploiting them. Their story belongs to them. Their identity should not be announced to others as victim or even survivor. We need to let them choose their own identity, preferably one of thriving, priceless child of God. And we want them to tell their stories privately if and when they so choose. But those stories are painful. You cannot truly bear to hear all of the full, true details of the exploitation and the abuse that they've suffered day after day. And honestly, they can't bear to retell it, relive it for our benefit. So because of all that, at Ministries, we will use pseudonyms. So hopefully I remember the names I've made up for the girls I'm talking about. And we won't show their faces. We want to protect their value and their identity. So thank you guys all so much for honoring their priceless value and supporting their journey, even without a picture to put on your refrigerator. You have this pretty picture to put on your refrigerator or stick in your Bible as a prayer reminder. So Gary, I know I talk about the touchy-feely stuff, but some of you guys want to hear stats,
Yeah,
right?
so what are we seeing? How many phone calls are we getting? How many clients are we seeing? What's going on right here with us here in the Tri-Cities?
Yeah, so kind of looking at that mission statement you were talking about, some of the stuff we see, Education and awareness was one of those things. Well, Mirror Ministries staff and volunteers, you know, Don, the one that booed me on my joke, he's one of those guys too that goes out and does some of these presentations. Mirror Ministries staff and volunteers have presented over 136 education and awareness events already so far this year. That's a lot. We would love to come out and do education and awareness events with your business, your school, wherever it might be. We have answered over 772 hotline calls on the hotline that we run 24/7, local sex trafficking hotline here. This year so far, we have helped more than 67 local victims of sex trafficking find freedom, hope, and restoration. 67 so far this year. Since we were called to start Mirror Ministries, that's made over 500 local victims that we've been able to help out of commercial sexual exploitation find that freedom, find that help, find that healing, and find that restoration. In our community, over 500 people. Just this last month in August, our 2.5 advocates, Morgan, you're not a half advocate, but she's part-time, so 2.5 FTE advocates. Last month, they brought in another 15 people to find freedom and hope and restoration. 15 in just 1 month. Guys, they're busy, and we need to keep them held up in prayer, and we need more staff. We'll talk about that some more as we go along too. Typically, those advocates are also working alongside those clients for case management and therapeutic services, about 33 clients actively each month in addition to finding those who need that freedom. And then nationwide stats, we're kind of looking at, mostly we pull those from National Center Missing Exploited Children. Actually, that's where our board president is right now. She's in DC representing as a subject matter expert with National Center Missing Exploited Children. They received 19,000 reports of possible child sex trafficking cases this last year. 19,000. Once again, those are our kids. About 80% of the kids rescued, 80 to 90% of the kids rescued out of sex trafficking are U.S. citizens. Our kids. National Center Missing Exploited Children report that 1 in 6 of the more than 25,000 reported missing runaways were likely actually victims of child sex trafficking. What's 1 in 6? About 20%?
Yeah, between 15 and 20%.
Okay. Maybe I should ask the bank table.
No.
Okay, yep, okay.
You're going to say like 16.245. Yeah, I got it.
Okay. That's a lot of kids. So these are kids that are called missing and endangered runaways, but what they're seeing is they're actually being trafficked and being lured off with that kind of thing. And we've mentioned this before, but it bears repeating, nearly 80% of the children rescued nationwide have been part of the foster care system. And then I mentioned already too, National Center for Missing Exploited Children also noted the outlandish 97.5% increase in online enticement, grooming, and exploitation of children since COVID and the increase of internet devices in each home.
Anybody depressed yet? We will get to hope. We will get to freedom. So these are incredible numbers. Sorry, babe. These are incredible numbers. Tricia. I know, I'm trying, I swear. I know. But what are we doing locally? What programs have we put in place to not only meet our vision statement, but also what we've got to help these victims out?
Excellent. Well, we have programs to address each element of that mission statement. We wanted a holistic approach to try to prevent as much as possible, where we can intervene as early as possible, and to walk alongside each survivor on their long road to healing and recovery. Offering that hope through case management and therapeutic services. So we're going to do a quick little video to kind of show you what that looks like on the daily. So the subject matter and the things we deal with are dark and dreary and depressing and horrific. But the things we do, the way we deal with them, are hope and joy and fun and freedom. And that's why we still do what we do. It's bringing that light into the darkness. So we do that, and you guys want to join us now, right, too? You want to come be part of that? So if you wanted to get hired on, we're ready for that. Volunteers, monthly supporters, all those different ways you can join in. So let's step through some of those things we do in that holistic approach. Education and awareness would be that first piece. And through our education and awareness, we strive to get as many eyes and ears trained as possible, so that as many people are aware as possible. Then you know how to intervene. You know when you're seeing something and you become aware of that, and you know how you can respond and get some help for those folks. One of the ways we do this in our education pieces is our Not a Product curriculum, and that was written by our co-founder, Amber Bruce. Written quickly because it was for Family Expo, and it was a princess royal theme or something like that. So we needed something to do with them right there. It became, we realized, this really is the heart of what it is we do. So we talk about tricky people with young kids helping families to have that normal everyday discussion using things like Disney movie clips, for instance. So the movie Frozen is one that we might use. We want to be able to help these kids learn about tricky people without being scared, without having to learn about details and things that are a burden that they shouldn't bear at their age, but still being wise and being prepared and equipped to be able to communicate with the safe people around them.
Sounds great.
So Gary, have you seen the movie Frozen?
Have I seen the movie Frozen? I have 4 daughters. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Yes, I've seen the movie Frozen.
You've seen the movie Frozen.
I have.
Careful there.
I love these rugs. These
They
are so cool.
Aren't they pretty? The people that did the decor are just amazing. So this kind of feels like the movie Frozen.
It does.
Too, doesn't it? Yeah.
It kind of does.
So in the movie Frozen, Gary, Princess Anna, yeah, she's kind of Twitter-patted with Prince Hans, right?
Yeah, she's in love with him.
They even finish each other's
sandwiches.
I heard that. You guys got this?
Did I get that right?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so how many of you guys have seen the movie Frozen?
Oh,
okay,
very
so
good.
Princess Anna's in love with Prince Hans. Is Prince Hans in love with Princess Anna? What do you mean by that?
Well, he seems like he's more interested in getting the kingdom than he is with Princess Anna.
Oh, what makes you feel that?
Because he says it in the movie.
Oh. And he tries to kill her.
And tries to kill her. And
That's
things
not
like
a good sign.
But,
That's never a good sign. Yeah. So using things like that, then we want to talk about how he was being tricky and he was using her as a product.
Yes.
Rather than loving her and admiring her true value, right? So did Princess Anna have any safe people in her life that she could have talked to and could have trusted and listened to?
Her sister.
I
would say her sister.
Okay, yeah. And probably a few servants around that big old castle, I would guess, too. But she chose not to. She chose to listen to that tricky person, and it didn't work so well, huh? So after we do these discussions and those education pieces, this is where the powerful piece really comes in, right, Ubi? She's got to do this a lot of times. We crown each child, and actually the adults, too, because the adults will start crying as we do this. And you're all going to get a chance to do this, so you can grab your crown. I suggest you put it on the very last tab so it's as big as possible. And we are going to do this. Gary, you are priceless. You have dignity and worth, so be kind and have courage.
Thank you. I love it. So now what I want you to do, I don't want you to crown yourself.
You're going to look to your neighbor.
To your neighbor.
You're going to look them in the eye. You're going to crown them. And you're going to say those words. It's up on the screen if you have short-term memories like the rest of us. And Gary's gonna lead you on this first one.
So is everybody ready? Help me along. Say it with me as you're crowning. Trisha, you have dignity and worth, so be kind and have courage. And after you've done one, turn to your neighbor and have them do you.
And then turn around and make sure your neighbor gets crowned as well. Some of you have odd numbers at your table. Don't leave anybody out.
Don't leave anybody out. Make sure everybody gets crowned. I love it. Nice. I love it.
guys look spectacular. There's a whole table with no crowns. What's going on over there?
All right.
Come on.
I want to know, how many are wearing these on their way out? Okay, that's good. I like it.
Actually, Megan, can you make sure you get pictures, and Mark, get pictures from here? They're glowing. It's beautiful.
It's beautiful
Thank
from
you.
up here. You're all sparkly.
Spectacular, guys. Thank you so much. How did that feel when somebody looked you in the eye and gave you those words of affirmation? It's kind of powerful, right? Well, what we found is this really is exactly what our true mission is at Mirror Ministries, helping them to feel that weight of that crown, helping them to understand their true value and worth, to go from feeling like a product to someone of value and worth simply because of who they are and how they were created. So thanks for participating in that. We encourage you to keep them on the whole morning, wear them as you go around today, and then crown somebody out there too. Mike's giggling. We're going to challenge Mike. You're all going to be watching for Mike throughout the day as our newest board member to make sure that he wears his crown the whole time. Right, Ryan? I don't see that crown. Okay, so that is our education and outreach, our education and awareness piece. Our outreach and intervention, because of the mental manipulation and the fear that's held over these victims, they don't often come looking for us, right? We have to go looking for them. We need to build relationships and trust for them to take that terrifying step to freedom. We run a 24/7 local trafficking hotline, and we do purposeful outreach and intervention, and in the most vulnerable of populations. We're out on the streets, in the parks, in our schools and our jails, and in our churches. I'm going to invite Shauna to come up and share a story that really actually we talked about it for outreach and intervention. This girl shows all the way through. As she comes up, I wanted to give you, in front of you, you have this little blue mirror compact, because we are Mirror Ministries, right? Don't want to blind you, but yeah. You can use these as a mirror or to start a fire and emergency, send SOS signals. But the true intent is this is equipping you for outreach and intervention. It has our hotline number on it. So if you run into somebody that you think might need our services, you've already, look, she's looking to see how she looks in the mirror with her crown. Everybody check that. Yeah. Not bad, not bad. So want you to hold on to that mirror. It's a good prayer reminder for us, but also that hotline number on there equips you to be doing some of Shauna's job. Shauna.
Hi. Well, I'd like to share a true story of one of our clients' journeys with Mirror Ministries with you guys. So one night back in May, we got a hotline call from a young woman who was desperate and afraid. She said that she had found an opportunity for her to run from her boyfriend, who was also her abuser, who also happened to be trafficking her. And she was leaving everything behind, and she was going to start walking on the highway, and she was hoping that we could come and pick her up. So 2 of our advocates jumped into the van and took off to a nearby town about an hour away from the Tri-Cities to search for this young lady who they had no idea what she looked like. It was dark, and they were not having any luck finding her in the beginning. But we don't give up that easy. So in a last-ditch effort, they decided to go the opposite direction of the highway from the Tri-Cities, and walking the wrong way, more wrong direction, they found her. And they were able to get her back to the Tri-Cities and get her a safe place to stay. And the next night, or the next day, could have been the day after that, I went to go visit this young lady. And I have to say that I was taken back by her. When I got there, she was very pale, very, very thin. You could see her bones in her shoulders, and her knees looked like balls in the middle of a stick. She was very closed and drawn in, just kind of sitting slunched over. And honestly, I wasn't even sure if she was able to communicate or talk. She just kind of hid behind her hair. She wouldn't look at me, but maybe a glance. And she would only nod and shake her head to my questions. But I just reassured her. I said, we're going to do everything that we possibly can for you. And between the 3 of us advocates checking in on her constantly. We were building a relationship with her successfully. We were learning about her needs and helping her to accomplish those needs. Over the next couple of months, we were able to walk alongside her as she realized and recognized that the relationship that she was in was toxic and most likely lethal. And also that she was worthy of healing and health. And she became active in our groups. She went to our classes. She regularly engaged in meeting with the advocates. And a few weeks ago, I walked into the outreach center, and our mentor coordinator / advocate, Morgan, she was helping this client to create one of these paintings over here that we're actually auctioning off today. And when I walked in the door, I normally just running, right? So I was running past, but I stopped just at the vision of what I was seeing. And there was this young lady. She was standing tall. I'm gonna cry. Gosh. She was standing tall. She was a little stronger, a little healthier, and she was confident. And she was very confidently and beautifully tearing the gold leaf that was on that painting on the far left and throwing it onto this painting. She had hope, you know? And that's a precious picture of a journey from going from something so horrific and dark to something perfectly priceless. And then the icing on the cake, you guys, is just last week we were able to get her into a restoration home where she is going to be able to live for up to 2 years while she continues her journey of health and healing and restoration. And that is absolutely priceless.
Just a quick reminder that, as she spoke, those paintings over there were created by our survivors. So those are priceless pieces of art. If you get an opportunity, they would love to bid on those, but the auction does close at 10 o'clock.
You have 16 minutes left to outbid your neighbors.
I think it's time for a commercial break.
Oh, like a priceless commercial
A
break?
priceless commercial, maybe of our own this time.
We have our own priceless
We do.
commercials?
Snacks, $25. Curriculum, $80. Chairs, $400. Support, seen and heard, loved. Now that is truly priceless.
How do you like our own commercials? So case management at Mirror Ministries, we talked about this, the restoration piece in our mission statement. That's case management and therapeutic services. Case management at Mirror Ministries is proactive and tenacious. We have to fight for the victims as they learn how to use their voice that's been so violently squelched. The importance and impact of an advocate by their side, to go to court, to sit with the doctor, to help with housing. All of that is so key. They need that intervention that truly comes through relationship and trust. The education piece with your crown, that's the core of our mission at Mirror Ministries. It's what we do every day to help her understand her true value. Her true worth is priceless. I say her, but some of the folks we work with and many of the victims out there are also males. This last week, working with someone who was first exploited when they were a young teenager, now a 40-year-old man who still has not found that hope and that healing and that restoration until finding a Mirror Ministries advocate referred to by another partner agency in town. Over those years, just one exploiter after another, and nobody who would listen or hear or help. So there's so many priceless souls out there that we still need to reach. One of those that I was sitting with this last week She's been just dropping in and hanging out with us a bit, and we just absolutely adore her time with us at the Outreach Center. The entire support staff gets to have some chances. We're going to call her Lauren. Lauren, this beautiful, priceless, intelligent, funny young lady, was trafficked most of her childhood by her own family members. She actually ran away as a young teenager and forged her way in this world, but continually runs into these tricky people that would like to continue to exploit her. She's a tough cookie. She blesses us so much when she drops in at the Outreach Center. So I asked Lauren, hey, if you could come and give a message to these folks, what would you like me to tell them for you? What would you like to say? And this is what Lauren wants you to know. Lauren says, this is the first place I've felt even sort of safe. I've had a hard time being around humans. They don't feel trustworthy. But I've been more involved here at Mere Ministries, the swimming party, floating down the river, doing things with a group that I would never have felt safe to do before. Because when people consistently show up, it makes me want to show up. You know, I can say, I'm interested in self-defense class, and you guys make it happen. To me, that is priceless. Well, to me, to our God, she is priceless, so we will show up. We'll show up to walk alongside as they each find their own path. We'll show up to cheer them on. And when they can't quite believe in themselves, we'll believe in them for them. So on your prayer card, we ask that you pray in this way for the clients we serve, that they would realize their worth in the kingdom of heaven and how much God values them. Like in Matthew 13, again, the kingdom of heaven is like a merchant in search of fine pearls. When he found one priceless pearl, he went and sold everything he had and bought it. These girls, these guys are our priceless pearls. So one way that we see this materialize as we talk about their value and worth, when they come into Mere Ministries and we have a survivor that has a victory, sometimes it's little tiny victories like you've been clean and sober for 3 days, or you've been clean and sober for 3 months, or you've been, you gained employment. You got a job interview and you got the job, and you've held your job for 3 months. Those things that we want to celebrate with her, and we say, okay, we can take you out. There's food here at the Outreach Center. What is it you would like? Anything, beautiful girl. And you know what she picked? Not? Cup of noodles. Anything, beautiful girl. We want to celebrate you. A cup of noodles would be fine, miss. Anything? Maybe some hot sauce? Look at what we have here spread out, Gary. We have an awesome breakfast buffet. We have a waffle bar. Is it good? Is breakfast good? Yeah. With the world in front of her, inevitably she's going to ask for a cup of noodles. We're going to give her that cup of noodles, of course, but we start to show her that there are so many more things to choose from, and that her opinions are valid. We work to give her choice, consent, and control. These things have been stripped from her life, choice and consent and control. These things help her to start to see her true value is priceless. Maybe the next victory we celebrate will be her chance to choose a waffle bar over a cup of noodles. Gary, are you going to eat that during our next commercial?
I love cup of noodles.
Okay.
This is like childhood.
Can we do a commercial while he eats that? Put it away.
I love it.
Canvas, $12. Paint, $24. Brushes, $32. Stress relief and psychological resiliency. Now that is truly priceless.
That is truly priceless. Therapeutic services. So clinical counseling is crucial, right? We need to be able to get that talk therapy and work through those problems and issues. But many of the clients that come to us aren't ready for that yet. And it's not the only healing method. Trauma settles into our body, mind, and spirit. So we look at it holistically, and we want to make sure that we can find methods that involve all of those, modes that utilize all of our senses. If you've noticed, we're trying to get you guys, using all of your senses and be interactive a little bit as well here today. We also want to make sure that they're things that are done in relationship and community. We have survivor support groups and all kinds of different ways for them to build a healthy new community as they have to leave behind those that have been harming them and helping with bad choices. One of the survivors we get to walk alongside, I'm going to call Darcy. Darcy loves her kiddo. She tries really hard to be a good mama. Darcy had horrible examples, and when I say horrible, I mean horrible examples of what it means to be a mom and how to parent. But she thought she was doing better. She was doing better than what her mom was, but she just didn't have a lot of examples. She would arrive with her little one, and everyone would know that they are there. Lots of drama, lots of yelling and screaming. So Darcy started coming to our survivor support groups and her little one to our kids club. The Callies are giggling because they know. They work at our kids club where they get to help these kiddos learn their priceless true value, how to have body safety, and how to understand safe people and tricky people. But Darcy started coming into the support groups. She started coming to music therapy. She came to Mommy and Me class. And in that class, Darcy got to practice and watch new ways of interacting with her child. She got to do that through fun play together with other moms and kids and watching ways that those moms, particularly our teachers, were interacting with their children and learning some new ways and techniques. Well, one day, a few weeks later, I heard the door chime, and I knew we were expecting her. And honestly, I kind of braced myself for the drama that was coming through the door. But it was quiet. I could hear some sweet giggles. So I figured maybe somebody else came in and we were still waiting for Darcy, right? But a little bit later, I come downstairs and I was stunned to see Darcy there with her little one. And she was quietly and sweetly interacting with him as he was having a moment of trauma. She's helping him to regulate and holding his hands and talking softly to him and helping him to come down from his upset. And this upset, mind you, was a quiet upset. This was a miracle from the lack of drama from the little one, a miracle from the lack of drama from the big one.
Thank you. Don't know what that means.
Am I the drama? Later, I came up to Darcy and I told her how proud I was of her for how she handled that. And she responded in tears, which surprised me too. I never knew that's how you can be a parent. I never saw that before. Thank you guys for sticking with me and letting me learn this stuff. That life-changing power is astounding and humbling. Girls like Darcy come into the Ministries Outreach Center for groups like art therapy, music therapy, support groups, Bible studies, movement therapy, self-defense, cooking, and baking classes. We have group activities for fun like swimming at the Pacific Clinic, thanks to some generous donors, paddleboarding, barbecue parties, happy memories, and build relationships, ways to make happy memories and build new relationships and trust. So music therapy allows the creative side of the brain to be active, while the other side of the brain can quietly process some of the trauma in little manageable chunks. Movement therapy helps us learn to reconnect and feel control over our own bodies. And art therapy gives us healthy outlets for our thoughts and emotions while building needing coping skills. And it gives us pretty things, too. Remember those paintings that Shauna mentioned? They are up for auction today, and there's only 5 minutes left in your silent auction. On your table is another way for you to engage your senses in a therapeutic way. See those cute little gold tins? Those are lavender candles made for you by some of the clients, some of the survivors, in a class with Tori Garza. Tori's one of our volunteers who donated the supplies and taught the class. So please savor the scent of lavender as you remember those that made it for you. And speaking of volunteers, our volunteer coordinator, Jana, has a story to share with you as well. Jana started with us as a volunteer, and then the volunteer coordinator that we had at that time said, wow, this volunteer would make a great volunteer coordinator.
Yeah, so for me, it actually started at a volunteer training. I remember sitting there and hearing all of these statistics and hearing all the red flag warnings, and I had this light bulb moment, this aha moment where I was like, wait a minute, I think I know a young teenager that is actually getting trafficked. And so I went home, prayed, and waited for God to open the door to be able to have this conversation. And sure enough, about 3 months later, I was sitting down with this girl, and I asked her, and she confessed to a lot of things. And so we went to Ministries, and because of the 24/7 hotline, because of these services, because of the advocates that were willing to walk alongside her in this journey, she's been able to get help and healing. And it's been pretty amazing. So I asked her, I said, hey, would you be willing to share something that you want? Same thing I explained to her. It's going to be at our breakfast to let people know what Ministries has done for you. And this is what she said. And I'm going to try not to cry. Ministries honestly saved my life. I had been through a lot of things that I would never wish upon somebody else. I wasn't always this way, though. I came from a loving family and friends, had a good life, and had amazing goals. But that all changed when I met my ex-boyfriend. He was physically, mentally, and emotionally abusive. I lost myself when I was with him for 3.5 years. He was in a gang, so just imagine all the things I saw and was around. Even the people he brought me around were terrible. I was raped by my ex-boyfriend and even sex trafficked. He would make me have sex with his friends, or else he would beat me if I didn't do what he asked of me. I also got into legal trouble because of my ex, and it wasn't something little, something really big and bad. There's so much more to it, because just imagine being with someone like that for 3.5 years, but I won't get into everything. During this time, I suffered from bad depression. I would always think about killing myself. I didn't, though, because to me, suicide is a selfish thing to do when you have people that truly love you, and I always had hope things would get better. I was a lost, confused, scared, hurt teenage girl. I was tired of everything, wanted a different life, so I came to Ministries. I was scared at first because I had never gotten the help I needed. They worked with me every week to try and help me heal. They never judged me for anything, even with the little dumb mistakes I would make. They didn't only help me, but they truly walked with me during my journey. That's what I respected and appreciated about them. They all have a big heart and really care about every survivor that comes to them. Even with the case that I had, they helped me get legal help and was with me every step of the way. They brought me gifts randomly, which was so cute because I never had anyone else besides my family buy me gifts. They just go the extra mile and make you feel so important, smart, and proud that you made the decision to walk through this journey. So I just want to say thank you, Ministries, for changing my life. You all are exactly what I needed. I can't say it enough.
Thanks, Jenna. And that sweet girl is off to a restoration home now, too. We've done a lot of relocations for gals lately. We don't have restoration homes here in the Tri-Cities area, but we do partner with other agencies for housing. But when we can get someone into a restoration home, it's a powerful thing. Those who can't get into a restoration home, though, those who aren't able to do that, that's not something that's ready for their life at the moment, we are still here for them at the Outreach Center. We build community, we build strength and value for them. We do that through our mentor program. So some of you are going to be signing up to be mentors for some of these gals. We do that with survivors and volunteer advocates that come alongside volunteer advocate assistants that come and help. We do that with people who come and teach classes and groups. So basically you become that healthy community, and we continue to offer those restorative things there at the Outreach Center. But restoration homes are crucial. We do have a few adult homes we can send people to in the state, just not nearby. And youth homes, however, are even harder to come by. Thus that vision that the Lord first gave us way back about a restoration home, which we didn't know the name of at the time. Amber, I think we were working through swan names and stuff back then. But Ubi nixed the swan, she didn't, yeah. Then we moved into all kinds of different names. But now we have Esther's home. So therapeutic care is going to cover all different senses, right? We've talked about some of those senses, and we've given you some gifts. I have one more for you. This is called a sensory strip. Anybody familiar with sensory strips? They're great to put on the back of your phone, down on your computer, wherever. And it's just a place for you to do a little grounding when you're having a tough time or just bored. And that texture just kind of helps you pull back in. This one's branded, so as you're doing that, you can also be praying for the survivors, for the staff, for anything you think is priceless, I guess. So Chris Nolte, our media guy, has done some amazing things for us, so we thank him for that. So therapeutic care includes including residential care wherever possible. For our youth, for the minors, we have less than 600 beds specific to those hundreds of thousands of kids that have been sex trafficked in our country. The U.S. government says hundreds of thousands on a yearly basis. We know that NCMEC had reports of cases of 19,000, but we have 600 beds available. Until now, we've had nothing here in the Northwest. We've had nothing in Washington State until now. Opening soon at a farm near you. Esther's Home is nearly ready to welcome 5 young girls to a place of healing and restoration, where they're going to have the time and the space to find full healing from the trauma that they've been through. Our dream, the vision that the Lord placed heavily on our hearts for a home for his daughters that have been exploited and abused, a home where they could find hope and healing and restoration. Last year, we announced that we had bought the property and the land thanks to our awesome realtors that did all that searching and all that work for us. And this year, we have had a long, steady year of transforming that property, mostly thanks to Lauren and Terry Sharp and a whole lot of other volunteers that jumped in there. And Rick Callies, who's still mowing lawns on a daily basis. You can also volunteer to help with that. Thousands of hours of donated skilled labor, over $100,000 in donated materials, and nearly $4 million raised in the capital campaign. $4 million. We just have $200,000 left to go on that. I can't believe those are the words I used, just $200,000 left to go. Actually, it's $180,000 because the golf fundraiser just brought in another $20,000 plus. So woohoo on those guys. But oh, I want you to see this place. I want you to fully experience it. I would love for you to visit. I would love for you to taste the delicious tomatoes and strawberries that we're snacking on from the garden. I'd love for you to smell the horses. It really grows on you, right, Lauren? Hear the soft sound of the irrigation sprinklers, the crickets at night. Feel the soft grass in the beautiful yard surrounded by flowers. Snuggle up on that cozy furniture and play with the sensory toys, or play pickleball in the gym. Let's give you a little glimpse of what God has done through his faithful servants. I just noticed that even though Lauren Sharp worked 6 days a week for a year, Harmony the horse is the one who managed to get herself in all the pictures. What do you guys think? Yeah, people visit and they say, wow, I wish I could live here. And then they stop and think about that reality of, yes, it's a beautiful place, yes, it's therapeutic, but the reason these kids need to come live here is a darkened reality. So to open the doors for Esther's Home, our big need right now is our therapeutic staff. We are asking your help to find them. You know different people than we know. Send them our way. Check out our website listings. There's all kinds of different needs for all kinds of different jobs. So if the Lord is pulling on your heart, or you know somebody who this mission and vision is strong for them, and they might have any of those skill sets, just have them look at the listings and see what we're needing. We also need dedicated volunteers, and I mean dedicated volunteers. Some with special skills, yes, but some skills can be trained, right, Rick? You can train people how to use that lawnmower, yeah. So many with simply a dedicated heart that is willing to show up on a regular basis for these girls. Remember, it's showing up that makes the difference. So now what? At both Esther's Home and Mirror Ministries Outreach Center, we are providing essential and unique services for local victims of sex trafficking, but we are running out of space for those services at our outreach center. Amen from our staff? Amen, yeah. It's getting a little snug in there. We are in real need of a bigger building. We would love it to still feel home-like the outreach center does, but we need a bigger building so we can all fit in for groups, with a fenced yard so we can do outside activities safely too, and we need to expand our staff. Remember those 15 new clients this last week, 15 people finding freedom on top of the 33 clients doing case management, therapeutic services, etc. We really need more staff at the outreach center, and we absolutely have to have the staff in place to be able to open Esther's Home. So that's a lot of staff. If anybody knows, employment is expensive. Employees are expensive. Yeah, we all cost money. How do you think we're going to be able to manage this, Gary?
Well, obviously through donors, through the finances that you guys bring in. I just want to take a moment and I want to talk about monthly donors. It's a little odd of it. It's a calendar and there's a crown on the top. Okay, monthly donors are absolutely critical to us. I just want to say that up front, that it's not, seems like paying for the normal stuff, the boring stuff, is not that exciting. But I want to show you a quick video here at why it's important for our monthly donors.
Rent, payroll, utilities, office supplies, art supplies, computers, internet, vehicle maintenance, hope, healing, and restoration. Now that is truly priceless.
I know when I give to a foundation or a ministry, I like to think, hey, that money's going to this really exciting thing. It's helping this girl, or it's doing this one thing. But honestly, our monthly donors are what keep the doors open. They're the ones that pay for those utilities, for the phones, for the computers. Is it exciting? No. Honestly, it's not. As a donor, it's not exciting. Is it absolutely necessary? Yes, it is. We've had monthly donors with us since we opened, 9 years of monthly donors. And I got to tell you, I was the treasurer for the first 6 years in this ministry, and when I can write a budget and have someone say, that's a monthly donor, it's so comforting. We know what's coming in every month. We can set a budget. We can set expectations. We know where we're at. So I just want to talk about that, just that little bit of saying monthly donors are absolutely critical to us. At this time, I'd like to have Chris Hoy come up, head this way. He is our donor development manager, and he's going to take the program over here at this point. But we have one more thing that we want to talk about, or one more thing we want to show you. There's a video. And this, again, on monthly donors, this is why it's important. That education awareness, outreach and intervention, case management, therapeutic services, Esther's Home, all those programs that Trish spent all that time, they don't work without monthly donors. The last video you're going to see is a song, it's a music video from the movie Priceless. Did anybody see the movie Priceless by any chance? Man, a few of you, fantastic. It's a song written and sung by King and Country. It's a powerful song. Now I'm going to start crying. It starts out, mirror, mirror on the wall, I'm showing you all your flaws. Okay? When our clients come in, that's all they see. We talked about why we're Mirror Ministries. They look in the mirror and they see their flaws. But at the end of the video, there's some powerful words about why they're priceless. And I love the scene because the little girl in it, you can see she finally heard it. You can be told over and over again that you're priceless, but until you hear it for that first time, you don't believe it. So please listen to this video. I'm going to go cry in the corner. I've seen this thing I don't know how many dozen times, and it just gets to me. So Rick, you're coming up, and we're going to go this way. So enjoy the video if you can, but it's a great message. Someone once asked me, was this song written specifically for Mirror Ministries because they didn't know that it was part of a movie? I love it. It just talks to our heart and who we are and what we want our clients to see.
Mirror, 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 mirror on the wall, saying those lies, pointing out your flaws. That isn't who you are. That isn't who you are. It might be hard, it's if you can see what I can see. I know you think that isn't who you are. There's more to who you are. So
You've been taught, talk, dress, and act like you cheat. We think, no, we believe there's a God that knows exactly what you're worth.
Hey, you are priceless.
All right, so just about everybody that's got up here has said they're about to cry. My wife's praying for me right now because she knows I'm a crier. And people in my church that are here today, they've seen me cry, so it's not an idle threat. I'm going to try to get through this. But my name is Chris Hoy, and I'm the new Friends and Funds guy for Mirror Ministries. I say that because I have a title and I can never get it right. It's like Donor Development Manager. I got it. That's the first time. Mark it on your calendar. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've reached a truly special moment. of our event this morning. It is your crowning moment. And all the things that Mirror Ministries does that you've heard about this morning, a number of you have raised your hand, said you're here for the first time at a breakfast. This is your first interaction with Mirror Ministries. Maybe you're like myself, that a couple months ago, I didn't even know Mirror Ministries existed, because it's not something necessarily we're gonna seek out. But once we know about it, it's like that road to Damascus sort of experience. Scales fall from our eyes and we can't unsee it anymore. So now you know. You know that this is going on in our community. What are we going to do about it? Your crowning moment is an opportunity for you to make a profound impact on the lives of girls and boys rescued from sex trafficking here in the Tri-Cities. Your generosity will provide them with hope, healing, and a chance for a brighter future. This can happen a number of different ways. You can participate in your crowning moment by using the same app that you participated in the silent auction for. Those items have closed. If you won, congratulations. If you lost, don't worry. There's still a chance for us to benefit from your generosity. So you can open up that app, because those crowning moments have populated as items that you can bid on, okay? Also, you can write us a check. We still take checks. They work. You may not have a checkbook anymore, but you can certainly do that. You can go to Mirror Ministries website, mirror-ministries.org, and look for the Donate Now button. Or you can use the envelopes which we have placed on your tables that were part of the packet that you got. There's a number of different ways. I'm going to work through a number of different levels of giving, because we have a lot of people in this room at a variety of capacities. And something, if I heard a disclaimer like this earlier, I'm not sure if I heard it. I'm a trauma-informed minister and kind of proud of the fact that I lead from a place of understanding trauma. You've heard a lot this morning, right? In a room this large, there's a chance that somebody here has been, this has brought up something for you, okay? Something in your past, maybe something in your present. I would encourage you, if you need healing and hope, and you need to talk to somebody, look for a staff member or a board member with these polo shirts on. Don't leave this place without you getting your chance for healing and hope as well. Okay? So I'm going to start big, and I'm going to work through a couple of different levels. But before I start, will you join with me in prayer? Dear Heavenly Father, as we gather here this morning, we come before you with humble hearts, recognizing your sovereignty and love. We are reminded of the words from Revelation chapter 19, verse 16, which tell us that you are the King of Kings and Lord of Lords, adorned with many crowns. We acknowledge, Lord, that in your divine wisdom, you have granted us the privilege of being stewards of your blessings. And in this moment, we unite in our crowning moment to give generously, just as the Magi presented their gifts to the newborn King, and as all saints will one day lay their crowns at the feet of your throne. Holy Spirit, we ask for your guidance as we consider our contributions, remembering the promise of Jesus that when we give, we're acknowledging just how much has been and will be given to us. That good measure that you promised, Jesus, is pressed down, shaken together, and running over into our laps. We are free. Free this day in ways that many children and young people in our community are not. As our minds drift to the plans that we have for the rest of our day, errands to run, lawns to mow perhaps, meals to prepare, football games to watch, the minds of these children run to the horrors and degradations that they will have to endure because of the depravity of sinful men and women that have enslaved or entrapped them. Lord, we pray that the gifts that we offer today may be seen as tokens of our love for you, our true King, and that they may be used to bring healing and restoration to those in need. Just as it is written in Proverbs 14:31, whoever oppresses the poor shows contempt for their maker, but whoever is kind to the needy honors God. Lord, fill our hearts with compassion and kindness for these young people in our community. May our hearts be filled with the joy of giving, knowing that our crowns are not just physical adornments, but symbols of our faith and commitment to serving you by serving others. We are reminded of 2 Timothy 4:8, which tells us, there is laid up for you and me, all of us praying here, that crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will award to us on that day, but not only to us, but to all who have loved his appearing. Lord, bless these gifts, our crowning moments, whether great or small, and multiply their impact in ways beyond our understanding. May they push back the darkness and evil of sex trafficking in our community and bring hope, healing, and restoration to those whom we serve. In the name of Jesus Christ, our Savior and King, we pray. And all God's people said, amen. All right, let's start at that first opportunity. $25,000. A $25,000 opportunity. Will this be your crowning opportunity? Your contribution will aid the staff in reaching out and aiding girls rescued from sex trafficking in the Tri-Cities with safe and reliable fleet vehicles. So when we get those 3 a.m. calls, when our advocates are driving back and forth on the freeway looking for that individual, that they have a safe ride. Stand with us today and let your generosity shine. Again, you can use the auction giving a site on your phone. You can write a check and stick it in an envelope. Or you can use the envelope to give us your contact information and your payment information. Just let us know how the Lord is leading you to give in this crowning moment. If you've got the capacity, please consider it. Our second level of giving is at $10,000. You recognize this place by now, don't you? Where is that? That's Esther's home. That's right. We're right on the verge of opening Esther's home. Your crowning moment of $10,000 will support one girl for a full month. And right now you're thinking, $10,000 for 1 month? If you've had any interaction with residential care, you know that it costs a lot for wraparound services and everything it takes to support a survivor coming out of this life. But your crowning moment of $10,000 will support one girl for a full month at Esther's home, our residence for girls. Your generosity aids in housing, therapy, nutrition, schooling, and rehabilitation for girls exiting sex trafficking in the Tri-Cities. Together, we can restore lives and provide hope. Your gift makes all the difference and brings life and light. The next level of giving is at $5,000. Seize the chance to make a significant impact and contribute $5,000 to empower Ministries to hire more advocates. Right now we've got 2. We could use more. We have a few advocates in the room today, and I'm honored to serve alongside them. These are our warriors out there on the front lines of this battle, and they need reinforcements. If you feel led to give at this level, your crowning moment will directly aid victims of sex trafficking in the Tri-Cities, amplifying our outreach and our restoration efforts. Stand with us against this grave injustice and create lasting change. The next level of giving is at $2,500. Join us in making a difference at $2,500. Your crowning moment can offer a lifeline at $2,500, enabling the relocation of a survivor from sex trafficking to a secure restoration home in another state. Sometimes it's just simply not safe to stay in this community any longer for these girls. You've heard a couple of those stories today. Your support at $2,500 provides safety, healing, and a fresh start for a girl seeking to escape the horrors of trafficking in our community. Stand with Mirror Ministries and bring hope and transformation to her life. The next level is at $1,000. Join us at $1,000 this morning for your crowning moment, and you'll make a significant impact. Make a donation to underwrite the costs of sustaining our outreach center. That's where I have my office. I'm one of those support staff that Tricia referenced that get to see these girls come in, and although I don't have a direct interaction with them, I see the work that's going on. I see the good that you're doing with your $1,000 gift. That outreach center is a point of connection for classes, counseling, or often just a warm meal, even if that meal takes the form of a cup of noodles. Anybody here going to look at a cup of noodles a little differently after today? Or perhaps it's just, they're just coming in to get out of the heat or the cold soon and take a nap on the couch in our living room. With this act of kindness, your $1,000 gift, you support the transformation of lives. Our next level of giving is at $500. Now we're getting to the point that I hope is accessible for just about everyone here. I'm hoping that you can participate if you've not yet had the capacity. We have just a few more giving levels until we're all done, and we're done with our event. Your crowning moment could be a $500 pledge to support intensive case management for a survivor of sex trafficking. Your generous contribution directly aids in providing crucial assistance to a girl on her journey to recovery and empowerment. Join us in making a lasting impact. Maybe $500 is a bit of a stretch, and you want to consider this next level. Our next level is at $250. At $250, you can celebrate your crowning moment and underwrite therapeutic services for a survivor of sex trafficking. Your support provides a path to healing and empowerment, offering a brighter future for one brave individual. Together, we can make a lasting difference. Our next level, at $100. Your crowning moment at $100 is to engage compassionately and bring restoration through art. Two individuals are going to walk home with a piece of art, and all of you are going to benefit from that lavender scent in your candles that was part of an art project made by our survivors. Your gift of $100 provides the tools for facilitating that healing and growth that comes through those group activities. Our next level is $50. If you're still waiting for your crowning moment, maybe this is it. $50. Or maybe you gave it another level and you've heard something else that excited you. You're getting that twinge to jump back in. I'd welcome you to do so at $50. Get ready to make a difference. This crowning moment invites you to support the Parents of Survivors group, our parent groups that do a lot of good. Your generous contribution empowers these courageous parents as they navigate the journey of healing and resilience. Join us in uplifting families and fostering hope by giving today. And finally, our last crowning moment level is at $25. Could I encourage each one here? $25. You can't even fill up your tank for $25, right? $25. Write us a check, go online, use the auction giving site. Your last opportunity to give, $25. Join us in supporting girls recovering from sex trafficking by providing the support group materials, aiding their journey towards healing and empowerment. Your crowning moment, regardless of the level that you chose just now, or you're going to choose in a moment of quiet while we just listen to the piano play, has created a ripple of hope and restoration. As you've come together as a community standing up against sex trafficking, you brought light into the lives of those who need it most. Thank you for your generosity and compassion. But a ripple on a pond is just that. It's the start of a movement that can build into a bigger wave of change. But for that to really happen, it can't just stop here. How many of you are here for the first time? Oh, I'm also supposed to tell you about the QR code to give that's on the flyers on your table. Megan's holding one up in the back. That's another way to find our site and to donate easily. But could I see, by show of hands, first-time attendees? This is your first time coming to a breakfast? All right. This is fantastic. But guess what? You could leave it here, and we don't see you or hear from you again until the next breakfast. That'd be a shame. Not just for us, but I believe for you as well. Because you've heard about something that's going on in our community, and it needs our help. You've been inspired, moved to compassion, and called to action. You want to ensure that a week from now, a month from now, a year from now, you're still partnering with us in this fight. You want to be a champion in the battle against trafficking of our community's children, our sons, our daughters, our nieces, and our nephews, our grandchildren. Can you imagine? Champions are what we call our monthly donors. Those who stand with us on a consistent, faithful, and dedicated fashion with the financial gift to the ministry every month that keeps us going. And you know what? Maybe you're not an impulse giver. You've heard me talk, you've heard us talk about this, and you're like, I want some time to pray on this. That's okay. The auction site, those crowning moments, are staying live until 11:30 this evening. But we do want, even if you're going to go home, you're going to think about it and pray on it, we would like an envelope from everybody here to register your attendance with you, because we do not want to lose track of one another. Like I said earlier, you're a part of the Mirror Ministries family starting today. Even if this is the first time you heard about us, if you were invited yesterday because a seat opened up by a friend, you're part of the family now. We want to stay in connection with you, with us. We want to stay in connection with you. Sorry. So on that envelope, please write down your preferred method of staying in connection with us. And if you want to become a champion, there's a box that says monthly gift, and make sure you check that so we know you're going to stand with us. Thank you. God bless you. Now I'm going to turn things over to Tricia for a few final words and some housekeeping items. And then I'll be back up to close out our time in prayer today. God bless you.
You can just wait up here. Thanks, Chris. You guys don't know how excited I am and our board to be able to have Chris on staff now. It's been a lot of years of praying for a Friends and Funds fellow, or donor management. Thanks so much for being here this morning, for joining us. We would love to talk to you some more when we're done. A few things I want to follow up with before we go, though. Your envelope has all kinds of options on there, so please do fill it out and look to see. There's other things where you can mark on that you want to volunteer, you want to start that process. Volunteer training is coming up, and Jan is going to come up and tell me when that is. You can sign up to be on our newsletter. Another way you can be involved, everybody keeps asking, how can I get involved? What else can I do? You can follow, like, and share on social media, okay? Click all those things, share everything you see. You can go get your picture taken out there at our little photo booth, because not only do you look spectacular, especially with your crowns on, you can tag yourselves when we put them up on social media. That helps spread the word some more. Volunteer training is September 18th, 19th, and 20th coming up, our next volunteer training. It's some pretty powerful stuff to learn, whether or not you want to continue on in volunteering as well. So you can invite us to do a training at your own place. Maybe you don't want to come go all the way through our volunteer training, but maybe you would like us to come to do a training to help understand the issues surrounding sex trafficking here in our community. Or you could hold a fundraiser for us. So instead of us spending all of these hours putting on this amazing event, we have a few ladies in the back, for instance, that put on a women's golf tournament and raised over $21,000. Right? And you know what I did for that? My hours spent doing that were I got to go eat lunch with them and share a little bit about Mirror Ministries. But they just took that $200,000 for Esther's home down to $180,000. So you guys can do your own fundraiser, do what you love to fight what you hate. We'll come show up and all have a fun time together. We've also seen a gal that just did a play for us, My Mother, Myself. Anybody go see that? Orange Theory just did a fundraiser, so you could go exercise and support Mirror Ministries. Summer's End race is coming up. And if you're not interested in doing a third-party fundraiser, you can join us for our next fundraiser, our first time, soon-to-be annual event, Candyland Run. You have that little piece in there, too. How many of you like to run over mountains? Well, you can also walk. You can hike. Okay, you can slowly meander. But it's on Candy Mountain, and the theme is Candyland. How fun is that? Already making some waves on this one, so get registered. And if you're a business or something that wants to, somebody that might want to be the sponsors on that, limited sponsors. Talk to that Friends and Funds fellow. Limited sponsors on that, but your sponsorship logos go on the backs of shirts that are going to be all over town, because that little Candyland gingerbread man, he's on the back of it, and it says, "Run, run as fast as you can." So, or walk as fast as whichever you would like on there. Closing up reminders. Your envelopes are going to go into that manila envelope that's in the center of the table. Somebody with one of these Mirror Ministries logo shirts on is going to come collect all the manila envelopes when we're done. So we want to make sure all of the funds and people's information are safely in those and collected up. If you did win an auction item, yay! You're going to come over to this table over here, and they'll help you retrieve that. If you have questions, want more information, anybody around the room in these Mirror Ministries polos can help you with that. Did I miss anything, guys, on our... And a big, big thank you, once again, for being here this morning. I mean, you guys took a Saturday morning where there's a million options of things to do, and you came here to be here with us. And now if you're still hungry, you can go down to Pasco and do the Fiery Food Festival. So...
And just for myself, thank you again for coming. Chris, will you close us up?
Let's pray one more time, and then we will conclude. If you would take your prayer card and just pull it out. We're not going to read anything off of it, but as I pray, this will be the one time where I'm not going to say every eye closed, every head bowed, that sort of thing. I want you to keep your eyes open for this prayer. It's going to be brief, but I want you to look at that image. Look at that image that's on the card. Lord Jesus, thank you for bringing us here today. Thank you for honoring us with the opportunity of partnering together to make a difference against the evil of sex trafficking. As we look at this image, as we gaze at this young person on the right, we see the image you have of your beautiful creation in the mirror on the left. We want to be a part of that transformation. Help us to see ourselves that way. Help us to be motivated to make a difference because we know how richly we have been blessed as your sons and daughters of the King. Lord, we pray that all of this have been to honor you, bring you and your kingdom glory. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, we all pray. And God's people one last time said, Amen.
All right, folks, remember all your toys and treasures and gifts to take along with you. Go crown somebody else today when they ask you about your crown. Or, if you don't want to give them away, let us know. We have some extras if you need. Have fun, and thank you for being here.
Thank you, everyone.
The envelopes, not everybody heard that. The envelopes are going in that manila envelope in the middle of the table. And then somebody in our Mirror Ministry shirts are going to come pick up those manila envelopes. Jara and Gary start picking up, yeah. Or you're probably going to, they're going to.
One last quick announcement. The centerpieces, the flower arrangements on the center of each table are for you to take with you. So you get to arm wrestle whoever was at the table with you, but those are for your, to take them away for the night. So take those centerpieces with you. Thank you so much.